So we will be working with the spine, how that moves, with the whole skull, how that breathes in relationship to it, and to see if people can get a qualitative experience of that. And then we're going to work with how that is working within the cells, how each cell is breathing and how each cell is producing this overall motion through the body. And we'll be feeling that, we're feeling it in the bones of the spine, the bones of the face, the bones of the cranium, and we'll be feeling it in what I'm teaching you will bring you more into the bones of the cells. Cells have a bone structure, they have a musculature structure, and we'll be looking at how that breathes through the bones of the cells. And one of the amazing things about holographic breathing is that you can feel all of these things. You can feel your spine moving in this way. You can feel your organs breathing in this way. You can feel the intrinsic breath within the cells. And I don't know anything else that actually brings that to the surface where that's possible, but that for some reason is available in holographic breathing. There's particular ways of tapping into it. And as soon as we feel this intercellular breathing motion within the cells, that opens up the breathing motion in the cells of the brain, and particularly the bones of the brain cells. And it was interesting to me, I guess it's not part of the webinar, but I will mention it anyway because it's very much part of what I'm working with anyway with the dry fasting. There's something that happens in this with dry fasting that also doesn't happen in anything else. As you become dehydrated in dry fasting, where you're not drinking or eating, the fluids are drawn out of within the cells and move into the fluids around the cells and the blood and into the blood. So you still got the same amount of fluids going around doing their jobs through the body, but the cells shrink a bit. And the same is in the brain. The fluids get drawn out of the brain cells and move into the cranial sea. And as the cells shrink, you see, the cells are going to get smaller. Rather than the bones bowing and meshing together, the whole cell reconstructs. All the bones of the cells start getting made anew, and they form a new cell in a way. It totally transforms the cell. And the fluids that were in the cells, which may have been there a long time and got toxins or pathogens in them, in a way, in dry fasting, they call this old water. And this is drawn out and starts detoxifying the cells from within. It's actually taken out, and then the toxins can be removed. And in a way, pathogens that get inside the cells, they're away from the immune system. The immune system can't get to them, and as they're drawn out, then the immune system can kill them. So there's this very specific type of autophagy that happens in dry fasting. And how that's similar to this is that we're really going to activate that breathing motion of the cells and that movement through the bones. I don't know why it's orientated. It's just what has come up in my practice is to relate this webinar to the shortening and lengthening of the body, and then the breathing motion of the bones in the cells, in the cranium, to bring a renewal to the brain cells, to exercise the brain cells, to detoxify the brain cells, so you really are able to start doing this brain gym. And it's quite a physical thing, but I can't help but think that it is very good for longevity if you can breathe with your brain cells, if you can get your brain cells to breathe. So we will be doing that, and we will work at different levels of that. We're going to start off with the bones, but as we go through different webinars, we'll work with different areas. And in dry fasting, also any organelles in the cells that are not working properly get broken down and thrown out, and the mitochondria really starts to breathe. And I'm not sure how it will work, because after that we will be moving into the lung circuit. We'll just have to see how that relates to the mitochondria in the brain cells, and getting that breathing and realizing this initial energy we've got. So you know, from saying that we go into things in very detail, we're going into things in minute detail, but it has a very strong effect. I mean, I should have died 25 years ago, or 20 years ago, really, or be, you know, when holographic breathing came through, I was dying, and this gave me a way out of dying. And a lot of it has been being able to breathe with my brain, being able to activate my brain, being able, you know, to work with that, and not just to heal and remove the Lyme disease, but clear the damage from the Lyme disease. Because so much, you know, the cells get programmed, the cells get toxified, and it's not an easy thing to clear them. And I think that's one of the things that gives holographic breathing legs, and one of the things that gives it a potential that we can move into the new age. We could move into the new era by affecting the brain. And obviously this won't happen for everyone. I think it was just on my specific journey. Something interesting happened this week. I mean, it was, 11 years ago now that, no, 10 years ago that my kundalini arose. It started on the 12th of the 12th, or just the week before the winter solstice 2012, the date that the Mayans said everything was going to change. And I can tell you it certainly changed for me. And all that energy going through my brain, one, it was like LSD, which I'd had a hard time on as a child. I had to get out of that whole area because I thought I would go mad, and was half nutty anyway. So I was scared to go back into that feeling, but you've got no choice when your kundalini arises. And for the last 10 years, I've just got used to that going through and watching the mind unravel. Rather than being the mind, watching all of the different facets of the mind like a wheel. And it's not a comfortable ride watching your intellect. It's not like watching thoughts, it's the mechanics of it and the qualities of it going through. And to a lot of extent, I have pushed that experience away just to lead some kind of almost normal life. And this week, I kind of realized that I'd just come to a place where that was, I'd got used to it and it was just pleasurable now. And I found that I could let myself drop into the energies more strongly, let the kundalini be more strong. And it was a bit this feeling of being on LSD, or this feeling of the mind unraveling as I just let the full charge of the energies go through. But it was kind of fleeting. And it just instantly, or not instantly, fairly quickly went on to a level that was there when it first started, but I just pushed it away because I felt that I would die. And that's just this bright, all-consuming light. And it feels like you can't stay in your body and have that light. It does feel like you're going to pass over to the other side, or there's little to stop you moving over to the other side and not coming back. Whether that's imagination or true, I don't know, but that is the feeling of it. There is a feeling, well, I'd like to live a bit longer actually, because there's a few things that I feel are unfinished in my life. But just to, rather than worrying about, okay, if I die, I die. But it was interesting to let that energy come through. And it feels that on an energetic level, I've moved onto a new level this week, and rather than watching the mind unraveling, I'm just watching this bright light move through my brain and my nervous system. And it does feel like, well, I might not be here for very long when doing that. It's a bit like the universe is keeping you here or something. It's like, but it feels deeply, deeply healing. And it feels like it gets into the cells. It really gets into the thyroid, different areas of my body that feel a lot of tiredness. The bright light travels through them and really feels like it's just killing diseases and pathogens. And it's an energy that is there for everybody, but you do operate in a different way. So I feel like I've moved into a different mode this week. I mean, I haven't had much of a social life for the last 10 years. I haven't had any, because you end up by yourself just watching this energy moving through, and it's even more so now. I kind of got even more sensitive to stuff, but that is my own particular journey. But it's quite nice to be able to mention that, and in mentioning it, it kind of gives me the ability to let that come through in the webinar per se. Just talking about it allows me to have that energy, so that may make a difference with what we're working with. Now, I'm not saying I'm enlightened or anything like that. You know, I still get angry and all sorts of stuff and frustrated with things, probably more so than most people, and I never actually want to present myself as being any further forwards than anyone else, because in lots of ways I don't think I am. I mean, it feels more like an accident than spiritual progression to me. You know, ruin your life, never get a social life again, feel like you've gone half insane. But there we go. That is what's happening at the minute, and I'm allowing it.